house in the equally gorgeous Laurel Canyon in Los Angeles. It's difficult for me to describe, in words on paper, what it was like to be a touring and recording musician in that exact part of the world at that exact time. So much of that period was about sensations and emotions. The California sun above my swimming pool, the chink of ice in the cocktails, the tanned skin of the beautiful people who populated my life. Although my mother and my 4 children lived in England, they were regular visitors, and it was a family home. At the same time, my house in Laurel Canyon was the location of the infamous Brain Damage Club, the bar where anything could, and did, happen. I damn near killed myself a couple of times, as you'll read in this book, and I still struggle to believe the things we got up to behind closed doors. This was my life back then, and although I'm a different man nowadays, I have nothing but affection for the world I used to inhabit and the friends I made. Read on, and I hope you enjoy the ride. John Mayall, Los Angeles, 2019. Chapter 1. Key to Love. My Family Tree. Let me introduce you to my family with as much information as I can recall about them and their lives. My dear maternal grandfather, Fred Leeson, known to all as Grandad, died of a stroke in his beloved garden on May 29th, 1964. He took a lifetime's worth of memories to the grave, but I'll always remember the stories he told us. Born on February 12, 1877, Fred was one of the 8 sons and 2 daughters of his mother Sarah and father Edmund, a country labourer. There was a 9th brother, but he drowned at an early age. Life was hard, and there were many mouths to feed. Only a strong belief in God kept Sarah going, as she tried to control her brood. Grandad told us that discipline was very severe, and for serious infractions of house rules or unruly behaviour, his father would not only beat them with his hefty leather belt, he would take them by their collars and hang them up on meat hooks, suspended from the kitchen ceiling, for hours on end. These seemed like medieval punishments to me. Despite Grandad's rugged childhood, I never heard him complain about his early life. He was raised within sight of Mow Cop on the border of Cheshire and Staffordshire. This was an 11th century feudal fort built by the squire of the nearby parish of Lawton, so that he could keep an eye on his barons and peasants from the lookout tower. Life in Lawton at the end of the 19th century hadn't changed a great deal in the intervening years, and young Fred used to walk to school across the village green. In those days it was accepted that country children would finish school at 12 and go into an apprenticeship of some sort. Fred was taken in by a butcher, and he began to learn the trade by working long hours as an errand boy, delivering meat to the gentry on foot. Sometimes he had to walk several miles, which motivated him to be successful in his own right. As the years passed, he acquired enough practical experience to strike out on his own, and by the time he got married in 1902, he was a merchant with a huge country estate called Aidenswood. According to all reports, Fred was a bit of a Casanova in his youth, and was always in the company of the village lasses, but he put these affairs behind him when he met Rose Hannah Wilson, and began a serious courtship. This was regarded as marrying above his station, as they used to say in those days, as Rose had been educated to be a genteel lady by her upwardly mobile parents, Samuel, a collier from Edinburgh, and Mary Ellen, a schoolteacher. Following in her mother's footsteps, Rose also became a teacher. I suppose Fred thought that he was coming up in the world. However, it ultimately proved to be a poor match, although he remained with Rose for the rest of her life. It often bothered Fred in his later years that he hadn't married his former sweetheart, a local girl called Alice Band. In fact, I believe he once returned to Lawton and contacted her. She wasn't ready to put out the welcome mat for him, though, and that door remained closed. It hurt his vanity to be dismissed in this way, but she could hardly be blamed. He'd ditched her without a word of warning some years before. The birth of a daughter improved the domestic chemistry between